Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Thank you, my viewers and subscribers who are kind and patient and understand that Cindy is getting her absolute butt whipped with this Mercury retrograde. You know, some of them can come and go and you kind of feel a little glitchy. Some of them can come and go and you actually lose brain function. You become incapable of actually speaking what is going on in your brain. I apologize for the confusion with this morning's reading about Dershowitz and Giuliani. I'm going to try to get through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reading on each of them in this video and try to straighten out the energies that I was seeing, feeling, hearing, and ultimately transmitting. We're going to start with Dershowitz because he, of course, was the one with the nothing happened because, you know, I had my underpants on. So we're going to focus on him. And then I'm going to take a look at Giuliani. And you know, this is the thing about the two of them, right? They both, in their own way, have sort of sullied their own reputations to side with Trump. Giuliani has just become an absolute lapdog, saying pretty much anything and everything to keep him in the public spotlight and to appear as if he is supporting Trump in every way, shape, and means. Alan Dershowitz also, you know, he's created a lot of almost like trouble for himself with this whole constitutional law and no, this can happen and that can happen. It feels like he really went out on a limb. And I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, he was the one who was complaining about, you know, not being treated very fairly at Martha's Vineyard. And now every time he's criticized at all, the statement is, I'm being punished, you know, for standing up to Trump. So there's a lot of similarities between the two. But that, of course, does not excuse in any way, shape, or form my own ability to attach events and to people. So come on down. We're going to tackle Alan Dershowitz first. Alan Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz. Okay. You know, he never sort of was able to reach the same adulation and notoriety and name recognition as he had when he was part of the dream team with the O.J. Simpson trial. And it was sort of as if he used up his bag of tricks there, even though he wasn't sort of one of those main lawyers. You didn't see a lot of him. I mean, he was always sitting at the defense table, but mostly he was sort of behind the scenes and he was maneuvering things and manipulating things to make it work to his client's advantage. But after that trial ended, he really, really did not seem, you know, he wasn't able to ride the wave any further. So a lot of what has been going on with him in the past many years is that he's just sort of been plodding along. He's been moving ahead. He does, you know, I think he's a professor now somewhere. So he kind of has been doing his thing. But there's very definitely a sense that he, you know, has been kind of left out in the cold. He's no longer the star name that he perceived that he once was. So when he decided to sort of take up the Trump mantle and, you know, start going on and on about things that Trump was doing, and he just kept standing behind the, you know, well, constitutionally he can do that. And a lot of people did not agree that constitutionally Trump could do that. So he sort of found himself in a position where not only was he defending Trump, but over time, he actually ended up having to defend himself. He is supposed to be a representative of justice. He fancies himself a representative of justice, but he also seems to have the ability to manipulate or twist the law so that it is to his advantage. And that is part of what is going on with this whole story of Epstein and the underage girls and the boxers, okay? He knows what happened. He knows the truth. And he is going to do his best to sort of twist and manipulate and distract so that he can continue to appear to be the innocent one. He doesn't like what's coming at him. He's sort of defiant about the attention that is coming to him because of the Epstein connection. And, well, that's too bad. But, there's a reason why mothers the world over say you are judged by the company you keep. There is an exception that says you're judged by the company you keep unless you're a lawyer or unless you're the president. It doesn't work that way. And he does not like kind of what's coming at him. And he seems to be very mindful and concerned about finances and money, perhaps even having to make restitution. I don't know, because he's not being charged personally. I don't know if it could be something about perhaps money going to women or facilitating that. I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. I'm saying there's definitely a connection to money and women, and money that he believes he worked hard for, and honestly he feels he's entitled to, and he doesn't really feel like he should have to be compensating anything for anybody. This is going to be a bit of a fight for him. Alan is in for a bit of a rough road. I mean, again, you have a well-known figure from the land of justice, from the legal realms. And the world is now looking at him, and a bunch of them are kind of snickering because of his justification of how he's innocent because. And it doesn't ring true. It doesn't pass the smell test. He gets that. And now he's being defensive, and he's going to try to deflect. He's going to try to change the subject. But the reality is, he absolutely took something that wasn't his to take. And he did harm by doing that. So whether he took someone's confidence or someone's innocence, or whether he just made someone feel like a paid-for slave, whatever it was, he is complicit in the behavior. And this whole Epstein thing is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not going to go away. It's not going to end quietly. Epstein, I believe, still hasn't actually figured out that he cannot escape this. He still thinks that he can maneuver. He still thinks that he can, finagle his way out of it, because frankly, he did that in Florida and it worked for him. It's not going to work this time. It's really not. And all of the players who are involved, including Dershowitz, are going to have a bit of a problem, because this is going to be like a pot that boils and boils and boils on the stove. It's not going to cool down, because those young girls who are now women are coming forward, and they feel that there is safety and security in numbers, and they are going to get their story told front and center. And anybody who was involved, and there was a lot of men involved, are all going to end up going through periods of time where the spotlight definitely shines on them. Yeah, it's you know, it's just not good, right? I mean, you've got shenanigans going on behind the scenes. You know, often this is about dark money, but in this instance, I'm almost reading it as things that went on in the darkness, things that went on behind closed doors, things that needed to be kept hidden, and they are going to start coming to light. Again, this is about relationships that shouldn't have been, relationships between friends, between women and men that should not have taken place. It's not going to look good. It's not going to be good for him. And he seems to have, he's concerned actually about, it appears, not only losing some significant income from this. So, you know, is it possible that the university where he is a professor, he's not a professor, he's something higher than that, may say, you know what, this is too much bad publicity for us to absorb? But there's definitely a concern he is having in terms of money and losing status, and he's going to try very, very hard to hold on to that. I don't see it working. He's going to end up having to walk away, and he may very much walk away kind of in disgrace as all the secrets come out. And this is the problem. You see, it doesn't matter whether a specific person conducted themselves in a specific way. It's like everybody is going to be cast with the same stain, whether you were a lot involved or a little involved, whether, you know, you were on the plane, and it doesn't matter. Everyone is going to get smeared by this, because the whole situation is not cool. It's horrible. What was done to these young girls is unspeakable. It has scarred them for the rest of their lives. And you don't get to just say, this is upsetting me to have to talk about it, and I don't like the fact that, it's drawing negative attention to me. And so I'm just going to, pretend I'm innocent and I kept my boxers on. Honestly, that could really actually become a bit of a tagline. We'll see, People are going to say, did you eat the last piece of cake? And somebody's going to say, hey, I had my boxers on, I'm innocent. Honestly. All right. So that's the story with Alan Dershowitz. He, again, cannot reclaim the notoriety that he had at one time. His ego needs to be fed, and it's not being fed. He has put himself in a precarious position in terms of his reputation, not only for the way he defended Trump, but also because of this whole yucky, swampy, disgusting mess that's going to come out in the Epstein situation. So, Alan Dershowitz. Done. Let's focus on Rudy Giuliani. This is what happened, and I make no excuses. As I was sitting down to do the reading, I was thinking of Dershowitz and the whole boxer thing, and I was looking at my viewer requests, and Giuliani's name kept sort of popping out at me. And so I was thinking one thing, but, my mind was reading another. And part of it, honestly, boils down to the fact that they're really similar. They're not that different. They're older men who are past their prime. They had their heyday years ago. They haven't been able to reclaim it. They like to be perceived as special people, important people. And, the limelight has sort of faded away from them, and they don't like it. Okay. Rudy Giuliani. Part of the reason I've been a little curious about him is because he's sort of vanished. Like, where is he? What's he doing? How come he, isn't out there kind of defending Trump as he typically and normally would be? So come on down and let's take a look at Rudy Giuliani. I'll give it a couple more quick shuffles. Rudy Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani. Where are you, buddy? What are you doing? How are you involved in what's going on now? Where are you? Sorry about that. Okay, so we have the High Priestess, the Ace of Wands, the Empress, and the Knight of Swords. So this is kind of interesting because typically these are, you know, sort of powerful cards. But certainly the High Priestess can often represent things that are being hidden, things that are being kept in the dark, secrets. So there's that. The Empress in this case is really indicating to me that what's going on now is with him is going to continue to grow and become bigger. And there's going to be a lot of... it's like as if there's going to be energy that could be positive that somehow ends up turning negative on him. And again, he is going to charge wherever he thinks he needs to charge. So, somehow or another, he appears to have fallen out of favor with Trump. I don't know when and I don't know why, but maybe he was just garnering too much attention for himself. Maybe he was kind of, you know, running off at the mouth and saying things that didn't need to be said, and then sort of gave everybody else a new tidbit. You know, the statement that comes to mind was when he was being interviewed and he was talking about the money that was paid, I believe, to Stormy Daniels. And he was like, yeah, of course, that money was paid back. It was paid back. Oh, you didn't know that? Well, no, it was paid back. He just sort of, he gets so caught up in trying to be the big guy on campus that he ends up saying and doing things that are not productive, and they are not helpful to the situation. Now, part of the reason that he had such a central role in the months gone past was because it was part of his job to create confusion about the Mueller report. It was his job to badmouth the report, Mueller, the investigators, anything that he could find to create an attack. That was his job. And he went at it like a absolute bulldog. And now that that sort of chapter is coming to a close, he has sort of taken a step back, and he is being still and quiet. Again, you know, connections and relationships that were not in his best interest. He also is a man who honestly just does not have good personal relationships. He just doesn't. It's like he doesn't appear to be able to conduct himself in a personal relationship without kind of destroying it. So there's that. He also is another one who is concerned about reputation and money. He, you know, these kind of people are always looking for more money. They're all, because they equate money to their, you know, their status, to how important they are, how they're viewed and seen by others. And so there's always this sort of greedy craziness when it comes to money. And you know what? It's never enough. It's never enough. So He's lost his position of strength with Trump for now. It'll be interesting to see after Mueller testifies, and hopefully that will go ahead next week, whether Giuliani makes sort of another appearance to talk about, his view of things and to start the slander machine rolling again. He willingly stepped in. He willingly defended Trump. He willingly tarnished his reputation. I believe it was America's mayor. That is destroyed. That is gone. Again, very much like Dershowitz, whose past glory is gone now. The time has passed. And so he did this willingly. He is no victim here. He was so greedy for the spotlight and wanting to, again, draw that attention to himself that, he would have gotten into bed with the devil to do that. His time is coming to an end for this sort of notoriety. I'm not at all suggesting death per se, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't appear that going forward, he is going to play a very significant role. If Trump actually ends up running for election, I can see him on the fringes of that, but he's definitely not, he's not going to be able to regain his glory. And in fact, I can see him sort of, almost like turning away a little bit from the spotlight. His reputation as a lawyer, being a legal man, an astute man, is gone. That's not coming back for him. And right now, he seems to be balancing something. I'm not seeing that he was in any way connected to the Epstein situation, but he knew about it. He knew the truth. He knew what was going on. He did nothing to protect those people. They turned a blind eye, and but he knew the truth. Make no mistake. I'm not saying he was involved. I'm not getting that. What I'm getting is that he was in a circle of people and associates where what was going on with Epstein was really common knowledge at a certain level of the stratosphere that these people believe that they float around in. So he knew, and he felt that this was a powerful man, and he wasn't going to take him down. He needed, he preferred to be his friend or be in that inner circle as opposed to being true to his profession and true to what he knew was right. The fact that he is able to talk about, rats and mobsters and using the lingo that a lawyer, a legitimate lawyer would bite their tongue off before they use those kind of words. He has no problem with it because, again, he's just... There was definitely a trade-off there. There was a quid pro quo, right? It was whether it was you do this and you'll get notoriety, I'll keep you in the spotlight, whether there was some money exchanging hands, whether it was simply for emotional rewards and gratification. But either way, again, it's kind of sad when people who should know better, people who have in their own right and in their own way have accomplished a great deal in their life. They were very successful. I mean, whether you agreed with, the whole OJ thing, and please, I'm not going there, or you didn't, whether you lived in New York and you actually seriously thought, thought Giuliani was a jerk, but the rest of the country sort of, was very impressed with what they saw around that whole tragic 9/11 situation. They just can't seem to let go. They want to hang on to what it is no longer theirs to hold on to. They should have gone gently and quietly into retirement, and they chose instead to tap dance like fools to maintain their public image and to keep their name front and center. So hopefully that creates at least some clarity between the two. As I said, there in some ways there's a great deal of similarities. There's a lot of things about the two of them that are very similar, that apply equally to both. So again, I apologize for the confusion, and I'm going to wrap this up and leave it there. I've gotten a really, really good response to my friend coming on and sharing her visions and her thoughts with you. So we're going to get that set up going forward. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. And there's been, some interesting comments going back and forth in my comment section about that. And so we're just going to put that on the side burner for a few days, and we're going to figure out how to deal with that. And it's definitely going to be next week at the earliest. As of right now, it is Tuesday night. It is the 16th. I am anticipating and hoping that I will be doing a video tomorrow morning, kind of my usual time. And then Thursday, I absolutely will not. You're not going to see me. If you think about me that day, just send me some happy thoughts, because that's the official moving day. And I'll be back, I hope, on Friday, all going well. So until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you soon. Bye.